Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're doing a prediction between essentially a rerun of 2024 on the Democratic side with Harris running as the Democrat, and then on the Republican side with the current most likely challenger being J.D. Vance. So right here we have the 2024 Electoral College map. We'll be going through each of the swing states. So I'm going to start out in Nevada and then move eastward. So I do think in Nevada, this state did go to Trump in 2024, which had been the first time in a while. They do have a Republican governor, so they've been reasonably open to electing Democrats on the statewide level. And on the presidential level, of course, in 2024, resulted in a Trump victory. I do think that if the election were to be held today, however, then it would probably go back into the Democratic column camp. So that's going to be 6 votes for Harris. I don't think that Arizona, however, will be the same story. For now, I'm going to put that in the tilt red, tilt Republican column. The state, of course, went to Trump by the biggest margin of all the swing states, and I don't think enough has necessarily changed in the electorate. I do think that it would probably be closer if it were held today, but I think it would still be a Republican victory. So that is going to be 11 electoral college votes for J.D. Vance. And then I've already characterized the district there in Omaha. This went to Harris in 2024. She didn't win any swing states, but this one swing district kind of, it tilts it blue. But this little district here in Nebraska did go to Harris in 2024. So I do think she would be able to expand on her margins if it were to be held today. And then I'm going to actually go to the south now. So I do think that the eastern half of the Sun Belt, being the states of Georgia and North Carolina, are going to have a similar prediction analysis. And I'm going to go, I'd feel more confident in classifying North Carolina. Harris didn't win this state. Biden also wasn't able to win it in 2020. Last time North Carolina went blue was in 2008, and that was for Obama. And I think it right now is a favorable environment for Democrats, but I don't think it's favorable enough that it could result in a kind of election year for Democrats that would involve winning North Carolina. So at the moment, I'm going to keep that in the tilt red column. And I do think that Georgia would be a similar prediction. Georgia is probably one of the states that I have the hardest time calling. I do think it has a good shot of ending up in Harris's camp if the election were to be held today. It didn't quite swing as far to the right in election results as many of the other swing states did in 2024. So I do think that in the long run, Georgia will be becoming slightly more Democratic friendly. The state was the closest state in the 2020 election, but did end up going to Biden. So Democrats know it's possible to win the state, but for now I'm going to predict it as a tilt red for J.D. Vance. And that leaves us with the 3 Rust Belt states here. We have Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I do think in Wisconsin and Michigan, I'm going to start with Wisconsin. I do think Harris has, if she was going to win a swing state, that Wisconsin and Michigan would probably be the most likely. I don't, however, think that Pennsylvania will be a different case. I do think that it will be a different prediction. It's hard to tell with these 3 swing states. Generally, the Rust Belt does vote together, but for now, I do think that the states of Wisconsin and Michigan have the highest likelihood. Wisconsin probably more so of ending up in the Democratic column. And I do think in the long run, the Rust Belt will become more and more Republican friendly, while the states in the Sun Belt, meaning the states of Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, will become more and more Democratic friendly. So we'll have to see what ends up happening, though. It's just hypothetical matchup where it's not, Harris isn't the most likely to be the Democratic nominee in 2028. She's been floated as a possible contender, but nonetheless, interesting prediction. Feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.